Hey there. Thank you for joining me for the May 12th live stream where I'm going to do a walkthrough on the Boss Up Breakthrough. Now, if you are new to me, you're new to the Boss Up Breakthrough. Um, it looks like it says it was canceled on LinkedIn. Well, that's not good. Sorry, I'm going to have to take a second and put it back on LinkedIn because I want it to appear here. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so let's start over. I'm Diane Wingert. I am the host of the Driven Woman Entrepreneur podcast and the creator of the Boss Up Breakthrough. So today I'm going to be doing a walkthrough of the Boss Up Breakthrough because a lot of people have questions about it. I have had so much feedback on the name. People love it. People hate it. People are confused by it. People don't identify with being a boss. They don't understand what boss up means. They think it sounds too aggressive. They think it sounds too masculine. People have a lot of things. And I like to refer to the people that I work with and to myself as being a woman with big ideas and a busy brain. And that may apply to you too, if you're joining me live or on the replay. A lot of the women that I work with are gifted and have ADHD, which means they have an endless capacity to generate creative ideas. And of course, we fall in love with all of our ideas. And then we have so many of them, we don't know which ones to do. What many of my clients do before they end up working with me is they try to do all of them, or many of them, or even several of them, which overcomplicates their business, makes it very difficult for them to be known for something, referred to, even discovered. And eventually they burn out. There's just too many balls to chase. There's too many fish to fry. Well, I could keep going with the analogies, but you understand where I'm coming from. The reason why I created the Boss Up Breakthrough, and I created it very strategically, very methodically, and it actually took a lot longer than I thought it would. I tried to do it on my own, and I realized that was not gonna work for me for the very same reason that my clients end up hiring me. When you try to figure out everything out on your own, you do not see your blind spots. You do not recognize your biases. You do not understand that some of the conventional wisdom, AKA mass marketed advice that you have consumed over the last few years is actually not accurate, honest, truthful, and sets expectations which are unreachable or unsustainable. So most of us, by the time we are a few years into our business, recognize our business is overcomplicated. It does not stand out. We do not have a consistent stream of revenue because we do not have a consistent ability to attract the right clients, which leads to another problem of either having to work with clients that are not right because you need the money, or not even recognizing who your just right clients are because you need the money. All of this contributes to burnout. All of this contributes to really just not enjoying being in business. And what's kind of sad and sometimes makes me angry is that all of the women I work with and most of the women I know work really hard to be successful. What's super painful for them is that the vast majority of them started a business after being successful in corporate, nonprofit, or academia. Or they may have been an independent professional like I was. I was a psychotherapist in private practice after having had a successful career in corporate, in nonprofit, in academia. I've been around a while. This can feel really demoralizing, friends, because you know how to be successful when you're working for someone else. You know how to be successful when you can plug in to a structured system where the expectations are clear, the goalposts are visible, and while you may be facing discrimination, you may have a boss that's a total tool. You may have colleagues that undermine you, rip off your idea. I mean, there's a lot of, let's just say, shenanigans going on in the workplace. But you figured out how to be successful in spite of all of it. And then you either aged out, got pushed out, left as a result of COVID, your position was eliminated, you were made redundant, your company, this is my favorite, decided to go in a different direction. Vague much? Or you simply thought, I'm better than this. I don't want to have a boss anymore. I have really great ideas and I want to develop them and turn them into products and services and sell them to others. I want to be a solopreneur. And there's tons and tons of people that are selling the idea, and some of them have very big names and have made a very big pile of money with the message that you can be a solopreneur, make more money than you can dream of. It's easy, fast, fun, lucrative, mostly passive, and anyone can do it. Well, if you started a business because somebody fed you that, if you're still in business, if you haven't given up or burned it down or walked away or realized you're not making any money, so it's a charity, not a business, then you know that what you've learned up until now doesn't work. My sweet spot in who I work with and the problem I like to help people solve is that you know you're creative, you know you're hardworking, you know you have original ideas, and you very much want to build a business based on your unique brilliance. And I'm going to tell you straight up, because I had to learn this the hard way over a number of years and many, many thousands of dollars. It's not as easy as the web celebs are telling you. It's not as simple. And even if they promise you a step by step by step roadmap, and all you have to do is follow those steps, if you were a follower, you wouldn't be an entrepreneur. I don't know why I didn't realize that from the beginning, but people promising a step-by-step approach are selling to people who probably shouldn't be entrepreneurs. Like, if you need and want a step-by-step approach, then you don't want to make mistakes. You don't want to make decisions, and you especially don't want to experience failure. But all of that is absolutely necessary in entrepreneurship. You can't escape it. Even if you do decide to follow the roadmap, the step-by-step advice, you're probably going to end up with something that you don't enjoy anyway. And most importantly, and this is for people like me and the people that I tend to attract and love working with, you're way too creative to just be a follower of someone else's system. Isn't that why you left your job, your career? Because you wanted to do your thing your way? So I created the Boss Up Breakthrough based on what I struggled to figured out over time the hard way, and now help people do. It's not a step-by-step system per se because it's your business, not mine. But what the Boss Up Breakthrough does help my clients do is understand the bigger picture, the things that we need to figure out first because they're foundational, what order we need to put things in, how to identify what's working in your business and what isn't, even if you think you have no clue. But the real value of the Boss Up Breakthrough, not that what I've already said is not important. I mean, we start with identifying your goals. And I'm not just talking, I need to get clients, I need to make money, I need to not go back to a job. I'm not working with people who are at that level of business. If you are so close to giving up and looking for a job, you haven't yet committed to being an entrepreneur. That's really shaky ground. And it's kind of like that little block of ice out there in the middle of an otherwise frozen pond. I'm not stepping on that block of ice with you. We're both going through, and it's damn cold down there. So if you've listened this far and you're thinking, oh, maybe this is the thing for me, but you are literally on that little piece of ice, that shaky ground, this isn't for you. First of all, you won't be able to invest the money and time. But if you haven't yet adopted the identity of an entrepreneur, no matter what, this isn't for you. It's perfectly okay to dabble. It is perfectly okay to say, I'm not going to look for a job right now. I'm going to start a business and see what happens. Perfectly legit. But the Boss Up Breakthrough isn't for you. I decided to call it the Boss Up Breakthrough because my clients pointed out to me that I often use the term boss up. They would say, hey, I really want to tell you something that happened this week. I was really proud of myself. I've never done something like this before. And then they would tell me the thing. And I'd say, wow, that's a real boss up. I didn't even realize I was saying it. And I had a couple people point it out. And then I looked up the term boss up on the Urban Dictionary because who goes to Webster's anymore? And to paraphrase, to boss up is literally to fully embrace the fullness of your dreams. You're like that perfect goal that you have in mind, that vision that you really, really want, to fully embrace it, to step into your power, and to devote your resources, your commitment, your focus, your energy, and all of your talent to fulfilling the promise of that dream. Basically, it's going all in on you. And in this context, it's going all in on you having a standout, sought after solopreneur business based on your unique brilliance. Now, that may sound like what the web celebs are promising. But you notice I'm not saying things like 6 figures in 6 weeks or even 6 months. There are no false expectations with the Boss Up Breakthrough, and there are no false promises. This is not a get rich quick scheme. This is also not a become a household word so you can get that check mark on social media. The Boss Up Breakthrough is for women and some men and non-binary folk, because each of my one-on-one clients are by invitation. We go through a screening process, not because I'm an elitist, but because I only will invite you to become a client if I know that you're ready, willing, and able to be successful working with me. And I also know that I'm the right person for the right reason at the right time. It's like when the stars align. I know what I'm looking for in terms of who is going to be successful with me. And because I'm very direct, you kind of have to be able to hang with that too and not be triggered by it or intimidated by it. So, this is a long lead up to what the actual system is. So, the Boss Up Breakthrough, I'm currently only working with people one on one. I also have a group version, which is going to be relaunched in the not too distant future. The program is the same, but there's some adaptation for the group. If you are several years into your business, you already know how to market and sell, even if it's inconsistent or not that effective, but you know the basics of marketing and sales. And you understand that when you're self-employed, that's the biggest part of your job, marketing and sales, not necessarily providing the services that you provide. That's a big shock to a lot of people who want to be a coach or consultant. When they find out that you're probably spending 20 to 30% of your time coaching and consulting, and the vast majority of the rest, marketing and selling, they're completely disillusioned because that's not what the internet marketers are telling them. But you need to know the basics of marketing and sales. You need to have an idea of your strengths and your gifts, what I call your brilliance, your genius, your magic. Even if you lack complete confidence in putting yourself out there, but you kind of know what you're good at. This is especially important if you are a solopreneur, coach, consultant, creative, agency owner, independent professional. I work with all of these types of folks. If you know what you're really, really good at, and you know that it's either what you do that is exceptional, or more likely the way you do it that's exceptional. Meaning your awesome sauce, your process, your signature framework, the way you go about doing what you do, serving your clients, is different than the other folks who are doing it. Notice that I don't refer to them as your competitors. Because for me, the ultimate boss up is for you to be in a category of one. If you are a musical theater fan like I am, a number of years ago, several decades ago, there was a wonderful musical called The Chorus Line. And I love the term that I use based on one of the most popular songs from that musical, one singular sensation. I kind of think of it as like when you do what many other people do, and you are not claiming the unique brilliance of the way that you do it, that would attract a very specific kind of client, and you would literally be their only choice. It's a no-brainer. They have to have you. Then you have not yet discovered the boss up of becoming one singular sensation. That is part of the program. So I'm going to be referencing a spreadsheet that I have to just briefly walk you through the steps before we wrap up. So the Boss Up Breakthrough, when I work with people one-on-one, is a 12-week program. Some people think that's not enough time. Some people think that's way too much time. But I will tell you, I chose 12 weeks for two very specific reasons. Well, maybe three. The first one is if someone's not committed enough to invest 12 weeks to completely transform their business and their mindset, they're not a good fit for me. They're going to be impatient. They're going to be wanting to focus on all the wrong things, and they're going to be constantly looking for some sort of affirmations that it's working. Business is a long game. I don't think 12 weeks is too long to completely change your business and your mindset. There are other people who don't think it's nearly enough. And I'm actually in the process of creating a way to work with me through the Boss Up Breakthrough over a longer period of time. but currently it's 12 weeks. So I need people that are committed to working for 12 weeks. Most of us have a framework of what 12 weeks looks like, feels like, because a lot of people who work on their productivity work in 90-day sprints. You can get a lot done in 90 days, and you're not thinking too far down the road, but you're also not just looking at the dirt under your feet. So 90 days is a really nice container. 90 days is enough time to literally change the neural pathways in your brain. That's another reason why I chose this amount of time, because change is hard. Changing your behavior is hard. Changing your habits is hard. Changing your mindset is hard. And you need enough time to practice the new thoughts, the new beliefs, the new behaviors until they start to solidify in your brain. There is a reason why many programs that are meant for behavioral change, I'm specifically thinking of rehab, when they're not at least 90 days, 12 weeks, the failure rate is astronomical. I want people to set themselves up for success. So over the 12 weeks, there are 3 phases. You've heard these words before. They are not unique to me, but I think they do create some structure and some expectations. The first phase is called clarity. The second phase is commitment. And the third phase is confidence. Now, within each phase, we have 3 modules. During the clarity phase, we go from scattered to simplified, because most of my clients, when they start working with me, they got too much going on, too many services, too many offers, too much complexity, and it's unsustainable. So the first thing we do is reflect. We look at what their actual goals are, and we adjust those goals so that they're a stretch. Because if it's not a stretch, why are you hiring a strategist and a coach? You want to grow, you want to expand, you want to evolve. So they have to be a stretch. But there's a difference between a stretch goal and a stress goal. That's when you've gone too far. That's when you're delusional and you're going to totally stress yourself out, and you won't be able to get there. So the first phase is reflect, and that's where we do the goal setting, where we want to take you from, I don't know, do I want this? Do I want that? To dialed in. We're going from scattered to focused. Then we're ready for the next step, which is to right size. And that is where I do some assessments with my clients, because most of them have already built their business based on cookie cutter mass marketed advice. It's like a patchwork quilt of a bunch of other people's ideas that you kind of cobbled together, and you're calling it a business. I've done the same thing. No shame here. But it doesn't work, because you are doing things you shouldn't be doing. You are doing things that you shouldn't be doing now. They're for later. And you're doing things that prevent you from doing the things you should be doing. So we need to right size the business, right size the offers, right size the team, so that it's manageable, so that it's sustainable, and so that it's profitable. Next up is refine. This is where we do the audits, because we need data, not just feels, to determine what's actually working, what's not working, and what we need to add or change in the business to work better. A lot of my clients started a business purely on passion, and many of them feel their business is to fulfill their purpose. I freaking love that. I love idealistic people, because I'm also one of them. I really resonate with that. But what they sometimes forget is, if you actually want to have a sustainable business, it has to be profitable. So we need to do the audit and figure out what's missing, what's working, what isn't working, what changes need to be made, so that your business has passion, purpose, and profit. We also want to increase the ease and efficiency during this stage, because If your business is overcomplicated, you've got all kinds of stuff falling through the cracks and you may not even know it. That creates so much stress and anxiety that it prevents you from really showing up as your very best self. So that's the clarity phase. Reflect, right size, and refine. Now we're ready to move into the commitment phase of the Boss Up Breakthrough, where we go from more generalized to prioritized. This is where we take full ownership of your unique genius and the value that you offer. We identify your most profitable offers and how to stand out from the rest. Again, there's 3 phases because I like 3. And it also neatly fits into the framework. In Identify, which is the first module, we're going to do some experiments. You are not hireable, you are not referable, you do not have a sustainable business if you are a generalist, unless it's a local business in a very niche market. It's not going to work, especially if you're marketing online. So here's where, and this to me is some of the most fun work I do is during this phase, is uncovering your unfair advantage, your awesome sauce, your superpowers, your unique brilliance, and how to make that infused into a unique offer that allows you to be distinctive, stand out, easy to find, easy to refer to, a no-brainer to hire, and continually energizes you in the business instead of depleting you because it's in your zone of genius. The next phase is implement. Here's where we've created all these experiments, we've created all these ideas, we've created all these changes. Now we need to go from hope to confidence by implementing. So it's not enough to just understand the changes you could make. In order to have actual proof of concept, we have to actually implement. So this phase, we are practicing intentional constraint, resisting distractions, resisting boredom, managing our fears. And if you don't already know, I was a psychotherapist for more than 20 years. I have a massive toolbox for helping people manage all the emotions that come with change, as well as the fears and limiting beliefs that all of us have. All of us. I know a lot about how the brain works, and I bring all of that to the way that I work with my business strategy clients. So if you happen to have ADHD, like many of my clients do, if you are gifted, like many of my clients are, then practicing intentional constraint, resisting the distractions, managing your perfectionism, managing your limiting beliefs, all of that is happening during this stage, as well as really throughout the entire program. Next, we move into integrate. We have the ideas, we're implementing the ideas, we are getting feedback for how they're working, and now we're going all in on integrating them into your business. Because in order to succeed, you have to be able to focus on your priorities and not other people's. You have to be able to establish your value and deal with your beliefs about your worth. This is where it's happening. This is the phase when everybody's people-pleasing tendencies are being dealt with and how they deal with other people's expectations and feeling obligated to do things that other people expect of them, want of them, need from them, or they're simply in the habit of doing. This releases a tremendous amount of energy when we commit to doing what's best for the business and what's best for us, and we start to eliminate things that we are only doing out of habit and obligation. This is powerful stuff. Now we move to the very last phase of the Boss Up Breakthrough, which is confidence. Of course, there are 3 phases. You knew that. The first is attract, where we map out your marketing and sales so that you can go from inconspicuous to distinctive. The fact is, the internet is full of people vying for attention. You need to stand out. You need to be paid as the expert you are. You need to lean on your uniqueness and share your brilliance in a clear, confident, and compelling way. That's how you create a successful business that you market online. Now, there are going to be fears about authenticity and vulnerability. There are going to be issues with imposter complex, and there's all your past conditioning that makes it feel safer to shrink, to fit, and to blend in. You're not going to survive in business doing that, my friend. Nobody can. Now, that doesn't mean you have to go on TikTok and learn how to sing and dance. You don't have to act like a clown. You don't have to stage ridiculous publicity events. And you do not have to align yourself with people whose values you don't share. All of that's being taught as the way to succeed, and I reject all of it. But you do need to know who you are, know your value, and be able to create a very clear message that shows you truly are one singular sensation while we're dealing with all the mindset challenges that try to prevent you from doing that. The last two phases are assess, where we've got some evidence now. We've been working over a number of weeks. We've been making a lot of changes. Now we get to determine, how is this working? This is where we really hone in on how to attract and convert leads for your just right clients through your distinctive presence, through your distinctive branding, through your positioning, your promotional strategy, and your messaging. So we're going to have to revise your brand assets, your sales page, your service proposals, your client emails, your promo campaigns, and probably your website. Luckily for you, I am really good at copy and content. I also have a good eye for what is in alignment with the personal brand that you're creating. Now, while we're doing all this, we are also dealing with your perfectionism, your rejection sensitivity, your permission seeking for validation tendencies, and people pleasing. Because we all have this. We all do. And I don't believe in just addressing your mindset. It's not enough. We have to make real changes in your business while addressing your mindset. And that's why I choose my clients carefully, because it's transformational. It's also work. It's also work. I mean, if I could literally put you in some kind of a machine and, use all the buttons and levers, and you would come out this new person with this totally made over business and identity, and all you'd have to do is pay me, I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't. I understand human nature much better than most. And I understand that at the core of the Boss Up Breakthrough, and why I think my background as a psychotherapist serves me so well in this, is my unfair advantage as a business strategist and coach, is that I understand fundamentally we are transforming not only your business and your mindset, but your identity, so that you believe you are the person who is capable of having the business that up until now you've only dreamed of having. This is really exciting stuff. And this is my body of work. This is what I'm here for. This is what I love doing. We reach the last stage of the Boss Up Breakthrough, which is advance. This is where we are going from kind of inconsistent and sporadic to dialed in on repeat. And that doesn't mean it's all passive. It doesn't mean it's all automated. It doesn't mean it's all outsourced. Although we are definitely going to determine what should be and will be. It's really fully embracing and committing to your new business, your new mindset, your new identity, and where you're headed in the future. So we need to either implement or change your systems for onboarding, record keeping, communication, sales, customer service, referrals, networking, and managing your team members. And while we're doing this, we are dealing with shiny object syndrome, your tendency to overcomplicate, which will always be a part of you because you've got a brain full of big ideas and it's always busy in there. We're also dealing with the threshold for boredom. This is something that took me a number of years in business. I mean, this is my fourth business. I've had a business with my current and previous husbands, as well as two businesses of my own. And I've helped a number of people start businesses as well. But someone told me once, I don't even remember who, that the only skill I really needed to learn was how to tolerate the monotony of success. I was like, side eye, what the H are you talking about? Now I understand it. If you are creative and you have a busy brain and big ideas and tend to overcomplicate, perfectionism, all the things I've been talking about, then you're going to have a tendency to feel bored when everything is going smoothly. That might sound crazy, that might sound perverse, that might sound I've never been bored because I've always been so scattered and overextended. The time comes when everything's working beyond your wildest dreams. And it may seem boring because your brain has become addicted to solving problems, creating them even so that you can solve them. Because the clients I work with tend to be very creative problem solvers who are really good in a crisis. So unconsciously, we kind of keep a lot of unnecessary drama in our business and probably our life because we can activate creative problem solving mode so easy. And you get a big squirt of dopamine every time you creatively solve a problem. So the long-term success of your business does involve weaning yourself off of the need for problems to solve. I call it transforming your identity and your relationship with problems from being a firefighter to preventing fires. And that takes some getting used to. And you might even find that you have time and energy and bandwidth to have a hobby or to hit the gym more consistently, or hey, spend more time with your partner or your family members, or just chillax. But most of us who have overcomplicated our business, who are chasing too many objectives, who don't know what's working and know there's so much more in store for us, will at some point reach the awareness that everything's going great, finally, and I'm freaking bored. It is where we wrap up the Boss Up Breakthrough. And as I mentioned previously, I'm in the process of creating kind of an alumni group or mastermind. I haven't quite figured out the exact format, but for people who have gone through the Boss Up Breakthrough with me and want to keep climbing the mountain. So stay tuned for that. And if you've listened to all of this and you think, wow, this sounds like exactly what I need, then you should hit me up. Go to my website, dianewingertcoaching.com. Navigate to the Work With Me page and schedule a free consultation. There's a questionnaire that you'll have to fill out that's a bit of screening. So if it's not in your budget or things like that, you'll know that before we get on a call together, because I don't want to waste your time. If this is not for you, you will be able to determine a lot of that just going through the scheduling questionnaire. So I hope to see some of your names on my calendar, and I hope that this was helpful, even if we don't work together, to think about the things that you might need to do to boss up your business, your mindset, and your identity. That's all, folks. Thanks for being here, and I'll see you in a week.